They say that politics is dynamic, and that is very true. And there are very many elements that change the political course. But in Kenya, if there is an element that has changed the political course for the worse or for better, depending on how you look at it, is our young generation, otherwise known as Gen Z. Their actions have been watched and discussed locally and across the borders. Currently, I saw a video of some international journalists embracing their call to fight for their rights. And their song Anguka Nayo is now being embraced internationally because that has been their main cause. Now, ladies and gentlemen, talking about the Gen Z, ever since they started their protest, when they announced their presence and told William Ruto that you are going to listen to us or else, they have attracted both love and hatred at the same time. Most of the members of parliament who voted no for the Finance Bill 2024 are really rubbing shoulders in the best way possible with the Gen Zs. And I remember on the day when they occupied parliament, people like Babu Owino sneaked outside parliament and went and addressed them. But there are a group of the political class that does not want to hear anything to do with the Gen Z. If you take, for example, members of parliament who are greeted, people like Didmas Baraza, whose wall went down courtesy of the rage of the Gen Z. You talk of the members of parliament whose houses were torched. They don't want to hear anything about Gen Z. If you ask Murkomen today or Eden Dwale whether they embrace Gen Z, what will they tell you? Because Gen Z caused the dissolution, caused Ruto to dissolve the cabinet. People who are enjoying power, who are enjoying, some kind of privileges and rights, security, good salary, are now jobless, courtesy of the Gen Z. If you ask someone like the former Inspector General, Japheth Koome, he can't like Gen Z. But there are a group of politicians, people like Caleb Amisi, I've seen them embracing Gen Z. At some point, he was saying that he declared Gen Z as the official opposition leader. Others are saying that Gen Zs, there are two presidents, William Samoei Ruto and Gen Z, because Gen Z can decide to declare a national holiday. But ladies and gentlemen, if there is one person who is happy with Gen Z, is the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. In the wake of this protest, there has been something that I don't understand. The controversy between William Ruto and his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, came out in the middle of this protest, where William Ruto explained that he is a victim of sabotage from his own deputy president. Of course, many are saying that what goes around comes around. That is the same way he caused his former boss, Uhuru Kenyatta, sleepless nights. So William Samoei Ruto told the nation that he is suffering from sabotage from his number two. He went and sold that narrative to Azimio leader Raila Amolo Odinga. And Raila, in his magnanimous nature, decided that he was going to stand up for the nation. And on the day when William Ruto signed or assented to the Electoral and Boundaries Commission bill, William Ruto captured Raila Amolo Odinga, and he begged, after explaining to him that for the nation to stand, they need a dialogue. And Raila came out and said that he realizes that dialogue is the only solution out of the political turmoil that we have. And with that, Rigathi Gachagua was really vexed. Perhaps to understand why this was very deep, you would listen to Oburu Odinga, who was asking people that there are forces that are infiltrating the Gen Z's demonstrations. And he was asking, in the event that Ruto is kicked out, if at all that happens, then who becomes our leader? And he was telling us that according to the constitution, Rigathi Gachagua will automatically take over if William Ruto is ousted. And Uburu was telling us that we better have William Ruto than the imagination that Rigathi Gachagua is the next president. And I don't know, it all depends on how you look at it. The only thing I don't like about Rigathi Gachagua is he's kind of, he's a tribalist in nature. He keeps on talking about their positions, their seats. You know, he keeps on fighting for Mount Kenya as if he is a village champion. And I remember at some point he was being told that he's a village champion. But ladies and gentlemen, there were these rumors that Raila wanted to form a coalition government. In fact, it was reported that William Ruto went and sold that narrative to Mount Kenya, that there was need to form a coalition government. And he explained the reason why he had extended an olive branch to Raila Amolo Odinga. But Gen Z, after realizing that Raila wanted dialogue, that Raila wanted to form a kind of an all-inclusive government with William Ruto, they told him in no uncertain terms that they were not going to accept this. In fact, they told him, you've been our hero, but this time round, you are going to spoil all the efforts that you've made as a second and third liberator. Even Raila Jr., his son, went on Twitter and said that even people who are born of the same mother have got different opinions, and he rejected his father's position. The Secretary General of ODM, Edwin Sifuna, together with the Senator of Migori, Eddie, went to Raila with a host of other youthful leaders, and they told Raila, the position that you are taking does not go down well with your supporters. And with that kind of pressure, because people had started, telling Raila, go back, go home and retire, they made his caricatures in a UDA t-shirt, and they told Raila that you are no longer our friends. In fact, they told him, stay away, you're not our leader. You did start these demonstrations. And Raila, realizing that it was becoming untenable, decided that he was not going to dialogue. Take a look.
Hello. Mwaka jana waliua watu wetu vijana 75 sio? Mwaka hii wameua sasa karibu zaidi ya 100. Watu kama hawa mikono yao imejaa damu, hatuwezi kuongea na hawa watu. Mimi nasema no dialogue. Tunataka action.
Now, Raila Amolo Odinga made that U-turn when he realized that he was going to lose his supporters. Even some members of the ODM, people like James Orengo, had rejected the calls for dialogue because many felt that he wanted to sanitize William Samoei Ruto. They felt that William Ruto should be left to carry his own cross. And one person who has been watching at the corner is Rigathi Gachagua, because he knew very well that if Raila gets into what many people are saying, a coalition government, then he would be doomed. Now, what caught my attention even further is the sentiments and statements of William Ruto after Raila rejected or made a U-turn on this kind of dialogue, this kind of formation that they had. In fact, William Ruto was saying that we will talk with those who are willing. If you are not willing, kaa kando. We are not going to force anyone.
Na saa hiyo mimi napanga hii maneno ya Kenya, mimi nimesema I am ready, I am willing, I am available to consult with as many leaders who are willing to consult with us. Sisi tuko tayari kabisa, lakini kama mtu hataki, hatuwezi kumlazimisha, kwa sababu Kenya ni nchi ya demokrasia.
So that was exactly William Samoei Ruto addressing Raila, because they had agreed they were going to form a kind of a government. They had agreed that Raila was going to help him because he's saying he is under siege from his principal assistant, Rigathi Gachagua. And in fact, after that statement, you've realized that he has embraced Rigathi Gachagua now. In every rally that they go together, because William Ruto has realized that he's got no one now. He has to go back. He has to stay in this marriage because all the other ladies he was trying to seduce are not coming his way because things are tough. And that's why I'm telling you that Rigathi Gachagua is a very happy man. While other people do not like this generation, the Gen Z, Rigathi is very happy, and he would even want that they continue on the same breath because they have changed the dynamics of our politics. They have decided, in fact, they have rescued Rigathi Gachagua. Because if Raila Amolo Odinga had come into the government, Rigathi Gachagua knew very well that there were things that would be at stake. What are some of these things that would be at stake? Number one, Rigathi knows very well that if Ruto forms that government, that will be the journey to abandoning him for 2027. Because if William Ruto gets that support today, then he will get a running mate everywhere, anywhere. I mean, it could be Joho, it could be Mudavadi, it could be Wanga, it could be anyone. And he knew very well that if they form that coalition, then he will be abandoned for 2027. Rigathi knows very well that he would suffer a lot of humiliation, he would be sidelined, just like William Ruto claimed that he had been pushed to the periphery in their government with the Uhuru Kenyatta. And Rigathi knew that he was going to suffer. Recently, he had even started lamenting that he was denied a chopper, not once, not twice, a military government chopper. And he knew very well that if at all Ruto forms any kind of a government where he extends only an olive branch, it would be very, very bad. He also knows that this would be a form of a punishment. Rigathi had said that he was placing checks and balances in State House, so that if Raila gets there, then he would ask him, what do you want? Even if he goes outside the country, he had said there were people who were looking around just to see if Raila would be there. So in the event that Raila would be there, and he had sworn that Raila should not be in State House, he knew that this would be a kind of punishment, because that is what William Ruto wanted to show him, that you think you are wiser, but I'm wiser than you. Both of them are cunning. Both of them are shrewd politicians, and that's why I always say that William Ruto got his match. So he knew very well that this will be a kind of punishment, because William Ruto would now, beg him. William Ruto would not tolerate him anymore. If William Ruto gets someone to work with, a community, and he knows very well that he's got the numbers of members of parliament, he would easily abandon Rigathi Gachagua. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that kind of bromance has been thwarted by the Gen Z, and they have rescued Rigathi Gachagua, and is a very happy man.